We're now ready to assemble our coin pouch. So if you take a look at what you've got in front of you, we have 4 pieces of fabric zippered pocket, 4 inches by 8 inches. We have 2 pieces of fusible pellon, 2 3/4 inches by 7.5 inches, 1 7-inch nylon zipper number 3, and 4 scrap pieces of 1 by 2 fabric. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set aside the 4 pieces and the pellon, and we're going to deal with the zipper. This zipper is 7 inches from the top stops to the bottom stops. Now when you're inserting this into your accordion area, I don't want you to be stitching over this metal piece because you could break a needle and damage your sewing machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to snip off that end like that, and then we're going to snip off the other end just below the top stops and just above the bottom stop. So now what we want to do is we want to add these pieces to the ends of the zipper so that your zipper doesn't fly off. Now you can use the glue, the liquid glue, or another way you can use is the Elmer's stick glue. So what I have done in the past is I've just put a little bit on the edge of that one piece and laid it down on top, giving it a bit of a stick, and then I've gone just along the edge of the other side, another piece, and placed it underneath like so, and same with the other end, just a little bit on the one end. Now this is a little bit more difficult because you have to squeeze these pieces together, so you want to lay that down, and then you're going to take the 4th piece, the final piece, and just on a little bit on the edge you can place that glue. Now what we want to do is we want to go over to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch 1/4 inch just across those layers from this point to this point and this point to this point, just so that we can finish off the zipper so that it's easy to inset into your accordion piece. So you can see I've gone ahead and done my stitching across the ends of my zipper so that our zipper pull will not go off either end, and also give you a nice edge at the at each side so that you can stitch into the accordion. So now what you want to do is you want to flip these scrap pieces with the wrong sides together, encasing that seam of your zipper in place, and you're going to give it a bit of a press on the one end, and then you're going to flip this side and give it a press on the other side. I like to have a good pressing and a good firm line to sew with. Now I also want to add a little bit more of glue. Now I'm showing you a different glue to use because if you don't want to be using the liquid glue all the time, this is an awesome way to connect things, and it won't penetrate through your fabric. Make sure that though when you are using any glue that you're sewing through, make sure that you're cleaning your needle on a regular basis so that it doesn't gum up your needle. Okay, so now what you're going to need are 2 pieces. We're going to start with 2 pieces of your fabric zippered pocket. Now we need to apply this piece to this side. You'll notice that the zipper is longer than the actual pocket, and I've made that on purpose because if you wanted to sew a better seam or a deeper seam, you can. So you want to center that fairly well against that pocket, and you're going to trim away your excess. So now what we want to do is we want to take a little bit of glue and along the edge of that pocket, that fabric, and we're going to lay this zipper down with the zipper pull up, and we're going to set that in place. You can close your zipper at that spot, pressing it down so that it's going to stick. Now if you find your glue isn't sticking, you'll have to go back to this glue, or you can actually pin these 2 pieces in place. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more along the top of my zipper and place this piece right side together Our right sides are together, so basically we're placing the zipper between the two layers. Now you're going to go to the machine at this point and you're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch from that edge of where the interior of the zipper is to here. 1/4 inch only, or as close to the zipper as you possibly can. You're going to need to use a zipper foot to get it nice and close, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that, and then we'll come back and do the other side. So now that we have stitched the one side of the zipper to the two pieces of zippered pocket, we're going to fold this over so that the wrong sides are down, and I'm going to give this a press along this side of the zipper, and then I'm going to press, close the zipper, and I'm going to press the other side. I want to get a nice clean press in here, so I'm kind of pushing the fabric back from the zipper area. So now we need to do the same process on the other side. So you lay down that third piece, and we're adding a little bit of glue along this outside edge. The reason I'm using this glue in this video is to show you the versatility of what you can and cannot use when you are doing this wallet. So there we go, press that in place. And some glue sticks better than others. This one is a extra strength Elmer's stick glue. It's geared for kids, for arts and crafts, but it works just great. Right side down once again. Exactly the same process of what you did on the other side. You're going to go back to the machine and you're going to stitch again at 1/4 of an inch from that edge in using a zipper foot. So now that you've done the other side, you're going to do exactly the same process as what you did before. You're going to flip forward or open up wrong side to the table, that side of the zipper portion, and you're going to iron that, and then you're going to do the same on this side. Remember, you want to keep that fabric away from that zipper area, so if you use your fingers and kind of spread that as you go, making sure that you don't get hit with the steam. You can turn your steam off if you wish, if you've got too much steam going. So what I have done is I have taken and completed this whole area for your zipper pocket, which is going to be folded like this to be placed inside your accordion. But I want this to be stiff. It's too wimpy and too wussy. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my zipper pull down, face down, exposing technically the lining of that pouch. I have two pieces of fusible stabilizer here, 7.5 inches by 2 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm going to lift up that lining piece and just expose the wrong side of this section. This piece needs to be slid underneath that seam. You want that edge right by the zipper pull to be really crisp and strong. So you want to make sure that that gets pushed way up and under, just giving it that little bit extra, and then you're going to take your iron and you're going to fuse that stabilizer in place, making sure it's well fused. Give it a blast of steam if you have to. Now another thing you can do while you are here is you can actually add a bead of glue to this section right up here so that that lining doesn't get caught every time you open it. But before we do, I'm going to fold up this piece of fabric against that edge of the fusible interfacing. So just kind of like you did when you were doing the credit card. Get that up that way, and then you're going to take a little bit of glue and you're going to transfer it to the stabilizer, and then you're going to glue that in place. So what we want to do is we want to do the other side as well. Flip it this way and bring this up to the top. Again, you take your fusible stabilizer, you push it as far under as you possibly can underneath that seam, and then you fuse it in place. Lots of steam. Get it well fused to the fabric. And again, you're going to push up the rest of that fabric along that edge of the fusible stabilizer. This stabilizer is very stiff, so it really does help give you a nice line to fold up and a nice edge. Now once again, you're going to add a bit of glue and fold that up and press it in place. So what we have done, I'm going to flip this to this side, we have finished off the outside of this zipper pouch. Now we need to bring this inside lining up to meet that. So we're going to put this back down with the zipper pull to the table. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue right along that seam. Fold it back down just to keep it in place. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's just something that I actually do when I'm dealing with my zippers. Okay, so you can flip this upwards and guess if you want. But the best way to do this would be to place your lining side down and fold this piece up and give it a pressing so it gives you a press line to follow. I'm going to do the same at the bottom, pressing this up and giving it a guideline. Now you want to make sure, like the credit card pouch, that this lining piece and this lining piece are encased together, because when you open up your zipper pocket you don't want to see raw edges. So I've taken a look to make sure everything is aligned. So I'll flip that piece back and add a little bit of glue there just to keep it in place. And again, a little bit more to bring this piece down to adhere the top and the lining together. Swing this around, pull that open, go ahead and add the glue, fold that way, and then go ahead and bring that down. Now we're almost done this zipper pouch. So this is what you have. Your exterior has got a folded edge on both ends, raw edges on the side. Your interior has got folded edges to the end on both ends, and again raw. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half so that these bottom line edges will align. And in order to keep them in place, you just need a little bit of glue. You can clip this now also at this point to keep it in place. So I'll use a couple of clips. And again, you got to realize that if you don't want to use the glue, you don't have to. You can just clip or pin. It's totally strictly up to you. I use a lot of glue because it really does help keep everything stable and in place. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sewing machine and we are going to stitch across the bottom at 1/8 of an inch, and we're also going to secure the sides at 1/8 of an inch. You don't want to come in too far with this because you don't really want to trim it back. You want to keep it at 8 inches wide. So you can come down and across and back up again if you want. That's totally up to you. So we're going to go to the machine now and we're going to stitch that, and then that will complete the zipper pocket. But before I do end the video, I will show you what it looks like. So here you have the finished zippered pouch. You'll notice I've gone down the side, across the bottom, and back up the side again. The bottom secures those pieces together so that when you open up your zippered pouch, there are no raw edges showing, and it's all nice and neat and finished. And that has to do with the way we folded the bottom. Now I have added a little bit of glue to the sides of this to stop it from fraying, but you need to trim off any excess threads that are there. You want to try to keep this piece as close to 8 inches as possible. You'll also notice that I have not stitched across the top. This fusible stabilizer is holding everything in place. There is absolutely no need to do any kind of stitching across the top of that. So we're going to set this piece aside until we need it, which will be near the end, and we're going to go ahead now and finish the interior and the exterior and place those two pieces together.